Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, everyone. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to our Black Futures pitch competition. I am super excited about tonight. We truly have quite the schedule ahead of us. We've got $10,000 in non-dilutive funding that will be awarded to one of the 10 presenting startups. But tonight is all about celebration of everyone who applied to our competition, everyone who will be presenting tonight, and everyone who is contributing to a collective Black future. So excited for you all to be joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and get into it. So you might be asking, why are we even here? Why Black Futures? Like, what is Black Futures? It's Black History Month. Let me tell you, there is a really awesome book by Kimberly Drew and Jenna Wortham called Black Futures. It came out at the end of last year, and it's an American anthology of Black art, writing, and other collective work. And it is truly phenomenal. So myself and the Boomi team, shout out to DJ and Stephanie, we were incredibly inspired by Black Futures. So we said, you know what? Let's celebrate the Black futures that we have in our innovation ecosystem. So what I actually want to do before we really get into things is share one of the excerpts from this book, because this really hit home for me. So, There Are Black People in the Future is inspired by Afrofuturist artists and writers who highlight the need for Black people to claim their place. Through the inscription and utterance of the words, "There are Black people in the future," the project addresses systemic oppression of Black communities through space and time by reassuring the presence of Black bodies. In 2017, Alicia Wormsley placed these words on a billboard in East Liberty, a neighborhood in Pittsburgh's East End that has suffered gentrification. When the billboard was removed by the city, community members protested. In response to the community support, Wormsley has raised grant money to artists and activists and community workers in Pittsburgh and Houston around their interpretation of the phrase, "There are Black people in the future." Since then, the billboard has been replicated in Detroit, Charlotte, New York City, Kansas City, and Houston, and London. The text, which Wormsley encourages others to use freely, has since been used in protest, critical art theory, essays, song, testimony, and collective dreaming. So that brings us to tonight. So we organized this Black Futures pitch competition where we will be hearing from 10 amazing startups who have Black founders or Black co-founders. You will be hearing from each of them very shortly. But they'll all be providing a 4-minute pitch, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A with our phenomenal panel of judges. And just a word of maybe caution for our presenters, I will be keeping time. So when your 4 minutes is up, I might have to mute you. So I hope you practiced, because you got this. I also recommend that you keep your answers brief to make sure that the judges can get in more questions for you. You'll be better off if you can answer more questions. So keep that in mind as well. And of course, we have to thank the amazing people who are serving as judges tonight. So I just want to quickly introduce everybody. First up is Chris McNabb, who is the CEO of Boomi. Thank you to Chris, as well as Chris Port, the COO of Boomi. If you all do not know, Boomi is a Dell Technology business, and it quickly and easily unites everything in your digital ecosystem so you can achieve better business outcomes faster. So thank you, Chris, and thank you to everybody on the Boomi team. Next up, we have Sylvester Mobley. He is the CEO of Coded by Kids. Coded by Kids uses project-based education and mentorship to equip underserved and underrepresented youth with the skills and support needed to succeed in a tech-driven society. Thank you to Sylvester for joining us as well, and for all the great work you are doing. And then next up, we have Pilar Johnson, co-founder and managing partner of Debut Capital. And Debut Capital invests funds and resources in Black, Latinx, and Indigenous founders. So thank you for joining us, Pilar. We are really excited to have you join us. Excited for all of you to hear from these amazing founders. And I think we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So first up is Adventurely.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
We can.
How's it going? All right, so I just do share screen, yeah?
You got it.
Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep,
I can.
Okay, hold on, let me just bring it down. We get everything queued up. And we are ready. Okay, everyone, welcome to the pitch for Adventurely. Adventurely is a meetup app for digital nomads. I'm Mita Karaman, the CEO and founder. In 2017, my friends and family thought that I was equally crazy and brilliant to travel the world full time while working remotely as a digital nomad. So 4 years, 13 countries, 25 cities, and 51 Airbnbs later, the digital nomad market has exploded and gone mainstream overnight. And here's how. Meet Hannah. She works from home because of COVID, like a lot of us, and she now plans to travel and work remotely from anywhere as a digital nomad across Barbados, Mexico, and Costa Rica for several months. Once she's settled in each place, she wants to explore the destination and meet new people. She isn't looking for dates, she's looking for activity partners and her next new friends in each place. And here's the big problem. Finding activity partners in a new destination as a digital nomad is hard to do because it's so easy to assume that good solutions have already existed. Tinder's a dating app. Facebook isn't automated, Bumble BFF is awkward, and Meetup is responsibility and cost heavy. And Adventurely is our solution. It's a Meetup app designed for this skyrocketing digital nomad demographic. It works in 3 ways to do a meetup. You select an activity that we pre-curated for your destination, you match with other users, and then you can invite up to 10 of them to meet you in real life at the activity in person. If you want to do something that we didn't curate, you can do that too. You can post a general meetup and invite up to 10 people. In terms of market, travel is a $1 trillion global and domestic market. We see a total available market for Adventurely of 4.5 billion trips taken annually. Then we have 100 million Americans who are now working from home remotely. And we believe that we can obtain a serviceable, obtainable market of 20 million trips coming from 10% of American workers who take 2 remote trips per year. In terms of pricing, it's free to use Adventurely in one destination and to join a meetup, but to post a meetup, you have to pay for a premium subscription of $9.99 a month, $39.99 a year, a lifetime subscription, and then you have the option to pay for a verified profile or to expand your meetup beyond 10 people for $15. In terms of growth, our customer acquisition strategy is a combination of affiliate marketing, shareable profiles and meetups, special events, and social media. For scaling, we're going to be in 25 destinations in 1 year, 50 destinations over 2, and 100 destinations over 5. In terms of projections, all about the money, I want to direct your attention to our 2-year goal in 2023, where we plan to be in 50 destinations. If we can obtain only 30,000 users in each of these destinations and monetize only 14% at a $50 LTV, Adventurely is going to be looking at $10.5 million in revenue. In terms of teen, again, I'm the CEO and founder. I was named one of 16 women to follow for inspiring international travel by BuzzFeed this year in 2021. And I've also been a general attorney and IP attorney for 11 years. Our lead developer and intended CTO, Andres Mora, has a master's in machine learning and teaches software development at the University of Costa Rica. And we have some other wonderful team members. Traction and summary, we raised $100,000 from Backstage Capital. Our app is live right this minute with 4,900 users. Forbes and Thrive Global named us a startup to watch in 2021. We've secured some awesome destination partnerships, and 3 days ago, Adventurely is accepted into the Google for Startups Founder Academy as one of 50 startups for the program. In close, Adventurely is raising a $500,000 seed for 3 full-time hires, technology upgrades, scale to 50 destinations for 1.5 million to achieve $10.5 million in revenue. This is our adventure. We welcome you to join us, and we welcome your questions. Thank you.
That's awesome. This is Chris Ford. Awesome. Yep. Oh, go ahead, Chris and I. Yeah. Chris and I know each other. Go ahead.
Just really quick. I had a couple of quick things. One great pitch.
Thank you.
In the pricing, I was confused. You had $9.99 a year, so roughly call it $10 a month, 120 a year, and then you had a $90 or $99 lifetime.
Sorry. So it's $9.99 a month. So we believe that most users will do 1 to 2 months because it's going to automatically be for, you have $30 to cancel, or you can just pay $39.99 a year, or you can just pay a lifetime membership for $99. So that's how we're doing it. And this is similar to a lot of other social media apps. Tinder has a similar pricing model. Nomad List also has a lifetime membership. So we're basing our pricing structure off of those two.
Got it. So $99 for the lifetime. Mm-hmm. As soon as I pay more than 10 months worth of subscription, that would be a good deal.
Yes.
Okay. And then is there anything in the app around security? How do I know who we're meeting up with?
So that's why we're working on having a verified profile for $60. Couchsurfing does this because Couchsurfing is an app where you can travel and literally go on someone's couch, but they're having an issue with, frankly, a lot of homeless people trying to sleep on other people's couches. So you pay $60 to get your government ID verified. And we're working on that because we're going to need to have a lot of security on the back end to take people's government IDs. So you would pay $60 for that. Also, right now on the public profiles, you can link your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, so that you have a software without even having to pay for the $60 to sort of soft vet who the people are.
Got it. And last question, ARPU for the 4,900?
Yes. So we're at 4,900 active users right now. They're all signed up and we're continuing to grow. We actually just closed a partnership with
average revenue, annual revenue per user?
Okay. Right. So we just started monetizing literally a month ago because we're in Backstage Capital in 2019 and we were going to start our raise in 2020, but then COVID happened. So there were a lot of travel startups that, they bottomed up, but we knew that this digital nomad market was going to explode because everyone's working from home. So it was in the meanwhile where everyone was not traveling, we turned off pricing to keep growing our users. Now that people are traveling, including myself, right now I'm working remotely in Mexico, we just turned on the pricing.
Got it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You have two questions. This is Chris Port. So what's the perspective on revenue streams from your affiliate marketing and effectively partnering with, different, whether it be restaurants or whatever in the locales that you service? Well, I'll start there and then I've got a second follow-on question.
Yeah, so there's a really well-known insurance company in the digital nomad space called Safety Wing, and they were in Y Combinator, and I've gotten to know a lot of the folks on their staff. And their primary customer acquisition strategy has focused on an affiliate marketing program where they partner with different travel bloggers, and there's tons of travel bloggers out there where if they share a unique link and people who come to their site and they decide to sign up for eventually, they'll get a percentage back. So we're focusing most of our customer acquisition strategy around that. We just installed it. And then there is a self-viral component to eventually, because whenever you post a meetup, you're sharing it with other people. So it's naturally going to be shared, and you can share it also on like Twitter and Facebook and things.
Got it. And then any perspective on, future segmentation and targeting towards couples or, others that it may not just be necessarily a single, in terms of like the ability to expand your TAM, if you will?
Yeah, so actually, I just came back from a 6-month stay in Barbados, which was one of the first nations in the world to launch an official digital nomad visa. And I got to know a lot of the people on their tourism board. And one of the most interesting data point is about half of the 5,000 first users within the 3 months, the first nomads, they were families. And the first thing that the nomads wanted to do, as soon as they were settled, as soon as they have their workspace, they wanted to get out there, explore, and meet people. And a lot of them were families and couples. And so a lot of them were very excited. And we have a good amount of them that were on the app. So we don't see it being segmented as it's only for single people, because a lot of nomads, especially these new nomads that are coming post-COVID, they're couples and families too.
Got it.
Thank you.
I have two questions. One, with the active users that you have you started tracking retention? And if so, what does retention look like?
So we've been tracking our retention since August, over that 90-day period from August, and our retention is at around 33%. And we know that that's going to increase because there's been a bunch of destinations over the past 3 months since then that have issued nomad visas: Croatia, Montserrat, Greece, South Africa. So we're on an upward swing now that people are getting more comfortable with travel and more vaccinations are being distributed.
I'm going to stop there because I think we got another judge that needs to ask some questions.
No, you're fine to ask the second question because my main question was around retention as well.
Okay. You're raising $500,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how you're estimating that gives you how much runway?
2 years runway, and we're going to use that primarily for 3 hires. Right now, I have my developer only part-time, and so he's the first hire I really want to focus on My CMO, she works right now doing marketing for the city of New York City. I want to bring her on. I haven't technically been on a salary myself. And then we have some performance and design upgrades that we need to do to enhance our tech stack. So that's really where the money's going to go over to the next 2 years, and then scaling.
How much more would it be to bring yourself and your CTO on full time?
Seconds, we're up on time. Quick.
CTO is looking for 65K for a year right now, which is insanely affordable because he believes in the product and he believes in working with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a great job. All right. One down. Great job. All right. Next up is Checkmate. We're going to allow a little bit of a transition here. Judges, feel free to take some notes, use your scorecard. Also, just so everyone is aware, we have other prizes available. Jimmy, good to see you, by the way. Good to go? We got about 30, 40 seconds, so take your time.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just trying to get my screen sharing saturated.
Take your time, take your time. But yeah, everyone, we have, in addition to our $10,000 grand prize, we have a year's worth of co-working space membership that is going to be awarded to our top 2 teams. And our 3rd place team is going to receive 6 months of free co-working space at IC at 3401, located here in Philly. So more on that in a little bit. Jimmy, good to go? You're currently, there you go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. All right. My name is Jimmy Telly. I'm the founder of Checkmate, a dating marketplace designed to facilitate genuine connections by bridging the gap between online and offline interaction using a data-driven, personalized AI approach. I'm a former international triple jump athlete with expertise in location data intelligence. I put together a diverse team with 30 plus years experience in tech. Wilson Senior is our legal as we position ourselves to be the Trojan horse in a saturated yet fragmented market. The industry is unfinished. There's a myriad of fake users and disingenuous behavior. Now more than ever, people are craving a safe space to authentically connect. So we set out on a mission to alleviate loneliness across generations and enhance life's experiences through dating, both virtually and in real life. Here's what we built. Our secure selfie creates a catfish-proof community, so no more people pretending to be Brad Pitt. Our dynamic messaging uses voice and video messages, so our users can focus on really getting to know their matches. Our date tab cures indecisiveness about where to go and what to do. We suggest options based on categories such as restaurants, activities, entertainments, and virtual. Our dating roadmap allows for an A to Z end-to-end solution. Pick a person, pick a time, pick a budget, and build a date. We use data based on where you go offline, what you search online, and your interests to curate a personalized date experience. Here's some of our early traction from a pilot we ran. We have 6 national revenue partners, including Ticketmaster and OpenTable, which will allow us to quickly scale revenue. We look at market size from a different lens, hence coining the term dating marketplace, as we plan to expand beyond singles to couples as well. We are monetizing the industry in a novel way, making 10% of experiences, 10% commission of experiences booked on our platform, while offering date incentives to places users frequent to increase retention. We are raising 1.75 million for marketing, operations, and product updates. Join us as we pioneer $1 billion dating marketplace. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit more about the rev you're bringing in and how many current users you have, and as well as if you're tracking retention around that too?
Sure. So we ran a pilot initially. So right now we're scaling up and building out. So our revenue partnerships are in place. And then that's what the capital raise is for, is to integrate them in so we can do that responsibly at scale.
Okay, so it's a pilot. You don't have like any current users yet.
Current users, a couple thousand users, but then we're scaling up right now. So we just came off the pilot and now we're going into just increasing the user base and then raising to make sure we can scale responsibly. Focused on the B2B side first, and now we're working on the to C side.
Okay. And then real quick, like, I'm just thinking about your differentiator,
Sure.
compared to an oversaturated market. And so I'm curious, like, can you talk a little bit more, explain the secure selfie, because you kind of like went through that very quickly.
Okay.
And then the dynamic messaging, so you won't be chatting, it's more just like voice.
Voice and yep. So to go back, it's secure selfie, which would be when you take your front-facing camera before you match, you'll put a profile picture next to their secure selfie, so the community can verify that person is who they say they are. The second thing, your second question was, so we've removed texting. It's audio messaging, video message interaction on that landscape, and a differentiator for us is end-to-end, and then curating dates using data and AI. So that whole bridging the gap between online and offline is a full like end-to-end disruption in the market.
And Jimmy, can you talk a little bit more about your ability to make recommendations? You said at a point, I heard AI in the very beginning, I heard making recommendations for the date or build a date. Can you just expand on that a bit for me?
Sure. So that's one of my backgrounds, being in location data. So our goal is building up the data, different data points, so then we can run AI through there. So you have your budget of, let's say, whatever amount that is, and being able to curate that option and serve it to the users. So using data to learn the consumer and AI to serve them. So let's say whatever you wanted to do, was it like 175 million hours are spent like in the restaurant vertical, just Googling where to go. So just solving that friction that exists there by using AI to do that.
And you drive your commissions off of all the partnerships you develop?
Correct. That's what's that's our B2B focus is, yes. So that would be where the revenue can come from. There, I didn't include the standard ways like subscription and there's other mediums. I was focusing on the real end-to-end distribution, because obviously there's other ways, but that's the main way that's different.
And what's the subscription side for the people looking for a date?
Sure, if you wanted like a concierge or if you're looking for it. So like your standard model of just content and having people wanting to unlock certain features and become a premium member of the community.
And what do you charge a end user for the premium model? What's that number?
That's what we're building out, but it'll be in the range like market. So it'll be like $9.99 to $12.99, like typical standard. But we're doing that at a later stage. We rather focus on the end-to-end value add.
You're raising a seed right now, not a pre-seed?
Correct. In between to early seed with what we'll say is of 1.75 mil.
Hey, great job, Jimmy.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Sweet. All right, let's keep this show rolling. So next up is Eastside Golf. Got Earl with Eastside Golf. If you're ready, feel free to get your slides up. But yeah, everyone, I hope you're enjoying these pitches. The first two were absolutely phenomenal, and we're just getting started. We got 8 more. So I hope you got some popcorn, something good to drink. Earl, good to see you.
See you. Thanks for having me, Gary.
Let me know if you need any help with your slides. Looks like you're good.
Good to go.
All righty.
All right. So, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me and Gary putting this on. My name is Earl Cooper. I am the co-founder of Eastside Golf. What Eastside Golf is a lifestyle clothing brand that we use to inspire culture, promote diversity, and try to maintain authenticity. Give you a little quick background on myself. I am currently ranked as one of the best young teachers in America. I'm a certified PGA professional. I've worked at least 3 different golf courses all throughout the country. And we launched, me and my business partner, we launched our brand about 1.5 years ago. Right now, kind of our short-term goals is to raise $1 million to get a flagship store. We currently want to raise $500,000 to go towards initiatives and then create other events as well. One of the challenges that I've always seen in being in the golf industry was you couldn't necessarily be your true authentic self. Most people that play golf at a high level were carbon copies of each other. And so it was very difficult for people to relate. And I think the growth of the game has hurt it because of that. So what we look to do is essentially create a space where golf clothing can be worn on and off the golf course. Our target customer would be someone between the ages of 20 to 40 years old. One of the unique things about our business, we're global. The first brand to take a chance on us was in Japan. They took a small chance and ordered 50 sweatshirts. They then sold out in 24 hours and turned into a $10,000 purchase order. And, you know, it's just been growing ever since. Our #1 cities are on there, as you can see, and so forth. We believe that we have competitive pricing when you compare our prices to other brands in the space, and the customer base has shown that demand is very high. It's tough for us to stay in stock currently. This is a picture of my co-founder. We met together at Morehouse College. He also played on the golf team where I did. We won a national championship our junior year. And the brand was also started because he eventually wanted to play on the PGA Tour and didn't have enough money to finance his career. So that's one of our missions, to diversify the game overall. Just to kind of give you a little bit of information about our business model, a ton of it is D2C, direct to consumer. We've tapped into a little bit of wholesale. I'm a trainer, so that's one of the things that we want to do in experiential events, and we eventually want to tap into a women's line as well. Some of our partners that we work with, we signed on with CAA. They do our official brand representation. The MBA and PA is also one of our partnerships. Social Status, which is a lifestyle boutique store. They own and operate about 20 different boutiques throughout the country. And then we kind of have some of our target partners on here as well. What our team kind of consists of right now is just me and my partner. We have a team of partners as far as that produce our products. We have attorneys that you can see listed on here. We also have designers, photographers, all this, I guess, essential things that we need. But as far as full-time, it would just be me and my partner. Again, kind of our goal is just to expand and reshape the game of golf. We believe that we can kind of be the new black face of golf. We have a great mentorship, kind of our advisory board, celebrities such as George Lopez, but then you have people like Charlie Schaefer, who worked 12 years for the RLX brand, Andre Iguodala, NBA player, and other folks of that caliber. Lastly, we've been fortunate to be featured on Forbes, ESPN, StockX. We recently just had an article in GQ. Excuse me, a little nervous right now. First time doing a pitch competition. But yes, that's Eastside Golf, and thank you for your time.
So Earl, very good, great idea. Love the pitch. Very quickly, so I heard you say you're a golf pro. You want to do some lessons, experiential events, clothing. I'm trying to figure out like who the company is at the moment. So do you see yourself more as an engagement platform, meaning teach me to play golf and at the same time dress well to do it, or are you going to start with clothes and then get people to come take lessons?
Yeah, we're going to start with clothes. The clothes is the key. We're a lifestyle apparel brand. That's the core of our business. But we believe that when we go into brick and mortar spaces, we want to create an experience. And I believe in my unique teaching style, I'll be able to connect with certain people because I know what it is to, in a sense, go to a place like Pine Valley and have a great experience. But I also know what it is to not know anything about golf. Like never heard of anything golf related. So to be in both of those worlds, we feel like it's a great opportunity to kind of connect.
And do you see, as you think through it, who designs the clothes for you? Do you and your partner design them, or do you hire that out?
No, he's a designer. My partner has come up with all the designs, and we have a team a graphic artist that kind of bring it to life. I'm more on the business development side.
Do you plan to bring in like name recognition to advertise it? This is Michael Jordan's golf apparel kind of a notion.
Yeah, we want it, but we want to have the right partners. We've seen growth, and we've said no to some people because we believe in staying authentic to our brand. So we're not here to sell culture. We're here to partner with the right folks. So yes, we definitely want to bring in some good folks, but it's just got to make sense. It's got to be authentically them.
Got it. And then you said brick and mortar. Any particular reason why it wouldn't be start out mostly e-commerce?
Well, that's where we are now. We've been in business for about 1.5 years, and I actually,
Okay.
I recently left my job in the mayor's office to do this full time. And so business is going well.
Awesome.
Do you see any risk to opening up a brick and mortar store?
Yes, there is some risk there. That's not necessarily one of the things that we're immediately focused on, but there still is value there. With me being a golf instructor, I would create an environment where we would have golf simulators there. I think as beginners can learn a lot and they're a lot more comfortable because it's an enclosed environment. You don't really not focus on where the ball's going.
How much revenue do you currently have?
So right now we've done about 150,000 in revenue. We've seen some spikes, so we did our GQ article, we did 40,000 in 4 days. So a lot of it is exposure. The more exposure we get, the more, we see. So we focus a lot on being, having enough inventory. But we've done a great job where we've undercut demand. So most apparel brands are sitting on a ton of inventory that they can't sell. That's not our problem. We kind of take the approach like a sneaker release. We try to make sure that we undercut demand, and then that you still have folks kind of waiting to get more.
Thank you.
Give me a quick thought on, so my gut tells me as golf was flat to declining growth pre-COVID, has exploded to some degree in COVID. Why would I bet on golf coming out of the pandemic? And do you have any thoughts of maybe unanchoring or untethering to golf over time?
Okay, yeah, I think that's a great point. I think why I would bet on golf coming out of the pandemic is because our brand is not solely bet on golf, right? Our brand is also a lifestyle brand. We had a great moment where Chris Paul was wearing it. There's not too many golf brands that NBA players are choosing to wear before a game. So that would be one of the reasons why I think that our brand is uniquely positioned to last outside of the boom, per se. And am I done, Gary? I'm sorry.
10 seconds left. If there's
okay, there was a second part of that question. I'm sorry, I forgot. I know you asked about the boom.
No, you got it. Okay. You nailed it. Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Great job, Earl. Great job. All right. Next up, we have Get Potluck. Wow, look at that magic. Hello. So feel free to take 30 seconds or so to get your slides ready. And then I will let you know when I will be ready to hit the timer. So let me go ahead and share screen. All right, ready. All right, go for it.
I'm Hope.
I'm Abu,
and we are Get Potluck. We both grew up eating a variety of ethnic dishes, from Puerto Rican arroz con candule
to Sierra Leone fufu.
However, what we didn't realize until we got older was just how difficult it is to find the specific ingredients that make our favorite foods. Today, we are Get Potluck, an ethnic grocery delivery service that leverages local ethnic grocery stores to deliver culture through food. The problem we found is that accessing ethnic groceries is costly and inconvenient because American supermarkets have limited options and ethnic supermarkets are far outdated and have no delivery.
And so we're filling in the geographical gaps that ethnic groceries currently do not conveniently reach. We're leveraging the 44,000 plus ethnic supermarkets in the US and also acknowledging that by 2045, the US is expected to be over 50% culturally diverse. So there needs to be solutions in place that addresses this new majority. Get Potluck provides an online marketplace where customers can browse and order ethnic groceries by culture straight from their phones and computers. After an order is placed, we go to a local ethnic grocer, purchase the corresponding items, and deliver that order straight to the customer.
The American supermarket industry is valued over $1 trillion. The ethnic grocery store industry is valued at $44.3 billion and has seen a 10% growth this year. Get Potluck is within the ethnic grocery delivery industry, which has a potential value of $4.4 billion. We've also seen a 400% increase in online grocery shopping with COVID that we can tap into.
There are 43 million ethnic households in the US. We're starting with the 1.1 million international students on and around campuses that have told us that they don't have a convenient way of getting to ethnic grocery stores, or that they can't find the foods that they know and love from their home countries. We've also been able to tap into general ethnic households by leveraging paid social media marketing as well as grassroots marketing.
I'm one of the co-founders of Get Potluck, and I've been in charge of social media and communications.
I'm the other co-founder of Get Potluck, and I've been in charge of operations as well as building out our delivery systems.
Together, we've completed 3 accelerator programs and have competed in and placed in 2 pitch competitions. We've also been featured in Technically Delaware as one of the 10 most promising young companies in Delaware right now, and have established key relationships with universities in Delaware and Philadelphia. We've completed 40 orders in just 3 months of testing our concept and have over 100 inquiries about our service. Our customers spend an average of $115 per order and typically order 1 to 2 times a month.
Currently, our revenue wraps around delivery fees, but we're looking to establish additional revenue streams by using groceries to deliver cultural experiences and develop data towards our own limited supply of inventory that will mark up by 10%.
Right now, we're raising a total of $50,000 to further develop the cultural experiences, launch the next version of our website, be able to handle at least 200 orders a week, and to start moving into Philadelphia this year. Right now, we have $2,000 in our bank account, plus $1,000 that we actually just won last night. And since our customers spend $115 per order, that tells us that if we got 26 orders per week, we wouldn't be able to fulfill every order.
And so today we're asking for $10,000 to handle over 100 orders per week and ultimately move into Philly later this year. So join us in our first steps towards scaling and actually making ethnic groceries accessible to all. Help us give real birth to our startup in the Philadelphia ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Love it. That's a quick question. How do you guys think about, so the way I understood it is your revenue is around delivery fees today.
Yes.
So how do you think about, what are gross margins for, how do you charge that, or what is the size of the fee, and how do you think about gross margins associated with that? It seems like it's a labor intensive. I need a person to pick stuff up. I need a person to drive it. It's people centric. How do you think about gross margins in your business?
Yeah, exactly. So we're closely observing just kind of the grocers' profit margins of specifically ethnic grocers' profit margins. And then we're also looking at existing models such as Instacart and GoPuff, who tend to apply a 15 to 20% markup on items. We have actually experienced with that and found that that's actually too high for our customers. But the 10% alone gives us about $11.50 per order. And then with plugging that in with the delivery fee, we can make up to $19.50 per order.
Yeah, and overall, we've seen that the ethnic grocery stores, they typically have a higher margin than American supermarkets. So we're able to leverage that as well, and being able to mark up and also tap into those profit margins really, really helps us.
Exactly.
So do you scale your business with a service like Instacart and then just add a little bit extra on top of it, or you have to build your own Instacart service?
So actually, we've been using a plugin API to kind of test out their service. But what we found is that companies that have their own inventory actually are more profitable than something like Instacart, because they do have to pay that shopper. So one of our partner stores is actually packaging the orders for us, and all we do is pick it up. So right now we're kind of just trying to use these grocery deliveries to collect data, get our own inventory so that we won't have to pay that shopper in between.
Exactly.
Where are you currently getting your inventory? From the grocery stores?
Yeah, right now we're leveraging the grocery stores until we can figure out what the most popular items are. So we have 3 partner stores in Delaware.
Yes.
And what would you define as your moat? Like, why wouldn't Amazon just come in or name any other mega food provider potentially and just take this space over?
Yeah, so it's really because so the example we actually like to use is with Instacart, right? So Instacart has like the human resources. They have data on American grocery stores, as do a lot of other big companies. But so if Instacart were to try to move into the ethnic grocery space, they wouldn't be able to, just because their model depends on transparent pricing, and just down to almost like transparency of just items specifically. So like I mentioned, the pricing, the brand name, the sizing, and all of that stuff, right? But these ethnic grocery stores tend to be like outdated technologically, and a lot of them still actually account for inventory through analog, so literally pen and paper. And so like we're sort of, we like to say that we're at a competitive advantage, just because we've actually started to collect this data and kind of organize it by culture, and actually list those onto our platform.
Yeah, and Amazon wouldn't do it within the hour. That's kind of what we tell our customers we do. So it's kind of more on demand than Amazon would be.
So Lester, you got 15 seconds if you want it.
The only thing I would ask is, on your deliveries, how do you control your costs?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently we're raising money, and we have almost 5 drivers. It's currently 4. We're getting a 5th individual, ourselves included. We're going to these ethnic grocery stores, and we're packaging everything and delivering them. And we're also accounting for potential delivery costs in the future, just by looking at kind of averages of pay in the gig economy in general. So.
All right. Great job. Get potluck. Great job.
Thank you.
Of course, next up, we have slight modification, Kitty Credit. Welcome, Evan. Good to see you. I love how people just pop up like magic. It's awesome.
Good to see you all. 1 second here. Alrighty.
Yeah, you can take about 20 seconds if you need.
Mike, my brother. All right. Okay, good to go. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Now, before I get started today, I want to take you all through a mental journey. Think back to when you got your first credit card. Now, think about some of the first purchases you made. Been clothes, shoes, books, maybe not books, but think to when you saw your credit score for the first time. How many of you understood how that score even came to be? If you're like me, you had no idea. Hello, my name's Evan Leapart, and I'm the founder and CEO of Kitty Credit. So what's the problem? Well, the majority of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy test, for starters. So this leads down a slippery slope towards bad debt and bad credit scores. And statistics show you'll pay 8% more in interest on an auto loan if you have bad credit versus excellent credit. And when it comes to understanding your credit score in the first place, almost half of Americans don't even understand how that score came to be. So this got us to thinking. We wanted to make a solution that focuses specifically on teaching about credit. When leveraged properly, it can be used as a tool to generate wealth, and increasing credit knowledge across all income levels has the ability to level the playing field, taking steps towards economic equality for those historically disadvantaged. And this isn't just a charity. The financially underserved market is a $173 billion market. Now, due to COVID, there's a strong appetite going forward for more digital learning solutions. And in fact, the projections of the global learning market have more than doubled in light of the pandemic. Side note, I hope everybody's socially distanced while listening to this. Now, the way our current product works is simple. The admin will assign chores or activities for the child to complete. After completing them weekly, they'll be issued a credit score based off of performance, which will determine how many rewards they can get, which they can then use to redeem items monetary or non-monetary, depending on the parent. So there's some parents that pay allowance, and for some, allowance is simply the roof over your head. That was how I grew up. Now, how do we calculate the score, you ask? It's simple. We created an algorithm that parallels traditional FICO models. So think of a missed chore like a missed payment. The longer you've had a chore is like the longer you've had a credit card. And anytime a child says, hey, mom, can I get this? Hey, dad, can I get this? Think of it like an inquiry. Now, since the launch of our public beta, we've had over 50,000 chores completed in the app and just recently passed 5,000 families on the app. We've been featured in outlets like CNBC, Bankrate, Now This, and we're called the financial literacy app teaching kids about credit by Forbes. Now, we've lined up multiple partnerships in recent months, the largest so far being Equifax. They're also a client of ours for Q1, and we have a pilot with YMCA, which is the first step towards our total inclusion in their 2025 strategic plan. Through our initial pilots and additional customers, we're already expecting over 100K in Q1 revenue alone. Now, the Equifax partnership has been huge for us, validating us as a thought leader and effectively teaching credit to youth. Our upcoming development includes a product recommendation engine. So think Credit Karma for families, where we recommend different products based off of geolocation and need. And through our seed funding, we intend to have over 200 hours of educational programming in-app. So our business model is B2B2C, as we'll work with organizations and municipalities looking to provide additional resources to their intended audience at a rate of $50 per year per family unit. Now, as for myself, I'm a professional mentor to youth, co-founder of the Black Men Talk Tech Conference. And as a serial entrepreneur, I believe entrepreneurship is the key to economic equality. And to increase access to capital for all, we must increase credit scores. Mike Gross, here with me on the call, has taught financial literacy entrepreneurship to inner city youth in Philly for over 15 years. And our CTO, Vic Moreno, is a lead engineer at Amazon with a master's of science in finance. So not only does he code at a high level, but he codes with a financial brain. And for the sake of time, I won't go through the remaining team members, but I assure you they're equally as impressive. And we're currently raising our $1.5 million seed round, where we have over half committed, and notable investors in the round, such as Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade and Monique Eidlet, managing partner of Rain VC, who currently co-stars on the show Undercover Billionaire. Fun fact, if you watched episode 1 of season 2, you'll see my curly-haired self make a brief cameo. I thank you all for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name's Evan Leapart, Mike Gross on the call as well, and this is Kitty Credit.
How are you creating, new content for the app? Mike, is that what your main role is?
Yes, that is my main role.
Okay.
We are in the process of building out content. Our goal is to have over 200 hours of content within the app by the end of this year. You can think kind of like Duolingo meets Schoolhouse Rock, and the idea of being able to create content for individuals to be able to access quickly and easily.
Well, who's your what's the age? You went by really fast, and so I'm just trying to see who's the target age range for this product.
Yep, so it's intended for kids ages 4 to 12 for this particular product.
Okay. And you said you have 5,000 users? Okay. And can you talk a little bit, is it like a monthly subscription?
So when we started out as essentially B2C. With our beta, we didn't charge the users. Essentially, we wanted to come up with a structure to where we didn't have to charge the parent directly. At the end of the day, the people that need to understand about credit the most aren't the people that should be paying monthly. So that's why we're B2B2C. And we charge annually as of now. We charge $50 per year per family unit.
Who are your competitors?
So when you look at financial literacy for kids as a whole, right, there's savings platforms out there that provide debit cards. So you have Greenlight, you have Goalsetter, you have Step, GoHenry, Osper. But when you look at it through the lens of particularly just focused on teaching credit, that's our unique value proposition. So that's why it's more important for us to have a first partner as Equifax than to be a Wells Fargo, for example. Every step of the way, we're really trying to say our secret sauce is the credit education. It tends to be the most overlooked part of financial literacy, but for the for lower income individuals, it's actually the most important part, right? So,
do you ever see directly monetizing parents?
We would, as we gain traction with B2B2C, right? And then there's just organic interest in what we're doing. A parent can come in and directly sign up, like as a B2C client. It's just not where our marketing efforts are going. As we start to look at engagement and we see it's going there, we'll throw dollars that way. But also another benefit of the B2B2C approach is that the acquisition cost is a lot lower, right? And we're not just trying to outspend everybody with the digital marketing campaign.
So your acquisition engine is the B2B partners you sign up at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your churn to date or inverse your retention?
So as far as the B2B2C clients, we haven't had any churn there yet, but in terms of the engagement within the app itself, just based off of the parents. So we see above average downloads to signups. We see above average signups to first activity, which is add chores, but we do see significant drop off when it comes to adding the rewards. Right now, it's been a very manual component of it, which is why our seed round is really towards building up engagement around the reward platforms themselves. So we have a LOI signed with a company called StoreCash, where we'll now be able to issue digital gift cards from over 350 major retailers. So resources for parents, rewards for kids is really going to be what drives the engagement, along with the educational content Mike's building out with team.
10 seconds left. All right. Great job, Kitty Credit.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Next up is going to be Money Captain. Team Money Captain is in the house. Are y'all ready to go?
Yes, we are. Thanks, Carrie. Cool. Can everyone confirm if they can see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I see now.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Sky Davis, and I'm the CEO of Money Captain.
And I'm Greg Davis, the CTO.
We'd like to start off with a story. Sorry, everyone. My computer is being a little slow. This is a true story about a woman named Carrie Blackburn. Carrie is a 25-year-old single mother living in a small town of West Virginia. A little less than a year ago, she faced an impossible choice. Her parents normally babysat her daughter for free while she worked as a customer service representative. But COVID-19 made those arrangements impossible. You see, both of her parents are in their 70s, and her father is currently battling cancer. With schools and daycare closed, Carrie had no choice. She took a leave of absence from her job. 3 months later, her employer contacted her with two options. She could not show up and be fired, or she could resign. She chose to resign. It's been 11 months since Carrie has last received a paycheck. She's drowning in bills she can no longer afford. Carrie's story is not unique. Every day, news story tells of increases in job losses and a rise in unemployment claims. The pandemic has decimated the income of millions of people. In fact, 28 million Americans lost their jobs. Thousands face immediate eviction after protections are lifted, and many note that the pandemic has wiped out their savings. We're building Small Blessings, a crowdfunding platform that allows people to easily raise money for small to mid-sized bills to help keep them afloat. Now, crowdfunding is not a new concept. We stand on the back of giants. In fact, many in this audience may have heard of popular crowdfunding platforms like Fundly or Gofundme. But our unique value props can be broken down in three parts. The first is that smaller dollar amounts equal easier access. Platforms like GoFundMe have large donation caps. We focus on specific bills that are less than $500, making it more accessible to raise. We also focus on a trust-based system. Bills with higher dollar amounts require proof of past payment, so givers can trust that their money is protected from bad actors. And last, we offer diverse donation capabilities. Givers can choose to automate their donations, where they give a specific dollar amount to Small Blessings, and we automatically give those funds to the community. The power is in your hand. Our product currently focuses on three types of bills: utility bills, cell phone bills, and rent. You don't have to be wealthy to help change someone's life. With just a press of a button, people can choose to donate as little as $1 to help keep someone afloat. People need help now more than ever. We are currently experiencing a high adoption of fintech apps and crowdfunding software. And we live in a giving nation. A Cambridge review noted that over $30 billion have been raised on top of crowdfunding platforms. This is a small fraction of the amount Americans have donated to charities in 2019, which is $410. 6 out of 10 families in America donate on average of $2,000 a year. Our business model is simple. We charge a 7% platform fee as well as a 3% credit card processing fee. We are pre-market, but this is a small sample of potential monthly revenues. These numbers assume 300,000 users with an average bill of $250. Our current plan is for a September, October launch, but winning this pitch will enable us to hire developers, which will speed up our time to market to the summer, allowing us to help at least 50,000 people raise money for their bills by the end of the year. Thank you all for your time, and please visit us at moneycaptainlabs.com to learn more.
The 7% platform fee, who's charged that? The person going on there like trying to get money to pay their bill?
So we have the option of people to be able to automatically include it in their bill. So I'll give a real example. So say you have a $150 cell phone bill that you're adding onto the platform. We would charge 70% on top of that. So the end person would see like $157, or if you could do that now.
Okay. And then is there, I feel like GoFundMe might have some kind of screening process like to use it. I'm wondering, can you talk a little bit about if you have something like that?
Yeah, so that's actually one of our unique value props. GoFundMe doesn't.
Okay.
In fact, it's been in the news that there has been a lot of scams that people have come on the platform and asked for, $100,000 to bury a loved one, and people find out that that loved one is, going grocery shopping the next week. So that is one of our value props. We do actually ask that people, either you can link your bank account to prove that you've paid the bill in the past, or you can just add a PDF of the bill itself.
Okay.
Thanks for the questions.
Are there any limits in place in terms of how much someone can raise or how often someone can raise money?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sylvester. So that's one of the things that we focus on. So at the time for our MVP, you can only add 3 bills per month. There is no monetary limit. So, of course, like a rent bill is probably going to be like extremely higher than like a phone bill or a phone bill or utility bill. But we do have those implementations in place to prevent bad actors from trying to scam the system.
What kind of validation have you done to see how large the people who would be contributing money, like how large is that side of your market?
Sure. So starting off for our MVP, it will be up to people adding their bills to share with their community to get help. But our plan is to quickly market so we can start with, we call them angels, people that, a lot of people haven't been really affected by the pandemic as deeply as, some other fellow Americans. So we call them angels. And with angels, we will have the ability for them to donate, $10 a month, and we'll immediately dole that out to bills that we have verified.
Other than GoFundMe, is there anyone? Oh, go ahead, Pilar.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I was going to say, other than GoFundMe, is there anybody in this space? And ultimately, given that there's so much attention given to nonprofits and that fee, effectively how much ultimately goes to the end user, what is your perspective on, whether you'd call it a 7 or a 10% fee? I don't know enough about this space and any competitors if that's just the norm. I don't know. I've never looked at GoFundMe in terms of what do they take, that type of thing.
Yeah. So I think at the moment, GoFundMe's fee is 8%, but they do allow people to tip. So if you're helping a friend out, you can bill, so you can automatically tip $1 so this person doesn't have to pay the fee when they withdraw the money. We're currently in conversation with Stripe because that's one of the things that we want to solve for. If you're asking for help, we don't want you to have to pay the processing fees that just come with building the product.
Got it.
That's our hope.
I guess my last question on the product side is like, is there like I don't know, like a filter or sort in place to where like if I just want to help Black moms, can I search that?
So not for our MVP, but we do have the ability to search by small blessings cash tag. You can think of it similar as, you know, a Cash App tag, where if you have a friend, you can just scan the tag
Okay.
and automatically be sent to their profile.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Great job, Money Captain.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is Omoko.
Awesome. Thank you.
All righty.
Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Omahabu. I'm here with my co-founder, Cindy Okorafor, to share more about our startup, Omoko. So Omoko is a plant-based body skincare and wellness brand rooted in our Nigerian heritage. We make clean label products with sustainably sourced superfood ingredients from West Africa that nurture healthy glowing skin from the chin down. Both Cindy and I have suffered with dry skin and body acne all of our lives. And as daughters of Nigerian immigrants, we both grew up learning about the healing powers of West African superfoods like baobab, moringa, mongongo, hibiscus. And as we started to really experiment with some of these ingredients, we began to notice a significant improvement in the smoothness and overall health of our skin. We've spent our careers across a wide range of different industries and brands in brand building, digital marketing, product innovation, and creative design. And we're super excited to build this brand. Oh, Cindy, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. We spoke to several of our friends and we found out that most of them had multi-step skincare routines, thanks to K-Beauty, but none of them had the same discipline for the skin on their bodies. So we surveyed over 200 women and found that same to be true. Despite many of them struggling with skin issues like chronic dry skin, body acne, and hyperpigmentation, we started this company to change that because we believe your body deserves the same level as treatment as your face. Our friends also shared that they don't feel comfortable wearing backless dresses and sleeveless shirts because of their chronic skin issues. And studies show that 3 in 5 Americans aren't comfortable in their own skin. And despite 67% of people saying that skin issues affect their confidence and self-esteem, 90% of dermatologists don't believe enough importance is placed on how skin condition can affect mental health. And that's why it is our mission to inspire confidence by providing the solutions that heal and nurture both your body and your mind so you can glow from the inside out. And our first product we'll launch will be our Glow Baby Glow Body Serum. And that's developed to treat the top 3 top 3 common skin issues, which is going to be 3 SKUs, 1 for chronic dry skin, 1 for hyperpigmentation, and 1 for body acne. And we'll be using our hero ingredient, which is in all of our products. It's a superfood baobab oil. It's sustainably sourced from West Africa from the baobab tree, also known as the tree of life. It's rich in antioxidants and vitamin C. It's 6 times more powerful than the orange. And baobab oil soothes dry skin, improves skin elasticity, and protects skin against radical damage. And besides the skin healing properties, baobab provides economic opportunities to female farmers in Africa. And we're committed to empowering them by donating 1% of our profits to benefit these female farming collectives and that harvest the baobab.
Our target consumer is Gen Z women of color who are bold, confident, and unapologetic. They are clean beauty advocates. They believe in sustainability and natural ingredients and are deeply invested in empowering themselves as well as other women. Looking at the $18 billion US skincare industry, body skincare is $3.4 billion and is one of the fastest growing segments, growing at almost 5% CAGR. It is seen as the next frontier in skincare. In Q1 2020 alone, body serums grew 32%, aided by the self-care movement. And when you think of a MoCo, there are a myriad of brands that exist in this space, ranging from affordable to luxury, clean label to non-clean label. A MoCo truly sits and is positioned as a premium clean label body care brand. And we've validated market demand. We're currently building our community and developing our MVP. In the meantime, we're solidifying relationships with influencers and skin estheticians, and we're preparing for a launch in Q4. We've identified manufacturers, and we're looking to raise capital to manufacture our first big order and fund a successful market launch. So thank you so much for listening today, and we're happy to take questions.
Yeah, I guess the first question I had was, as you went through your hero ingredient, if you will, and vitamin C and fatty acids and so on, I didn't see anything in there that seemed unique to me. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But how difficult would it be for somebody to duplicate your hero ingredient or farm it on their own?
Well, we are, so the hero ingredient is baobab oil, but it is going to be a complex proprietary blend of multiple superfoods. Baobab will be the biggest component, the leading hero ingredient, but it will be difficult because it is going to be a proprietary blend.
Got it. And then I noticed, listen, I'm not a skincare expert, I apologize, but there was many brands that I would recognize on a grocery store of providing skincare supplements and so on, that I didn't see any of them in your competitor list. Is there rationale for that?
Yeah, so in terms of our competitor list, and maybe if I can share my screen again, I can throw it back up.
Yeah, clean label, not luxury, affordable, right? Yep.
Yeah, so these are the competitors that we're comparing ourselves to. We're not just a skincare brand, we're specifically focused on the skin below the chin, so body care only. And we think these are the brands they're in this space that are mostly focused on body care as well, from the more affordable to Vaseline to the way more luxury and premium, like Moroccan oil or We the People. So that's why you don't necessarily see some of the more mass brands you reference.
Got it.
What would you say is like your main differentiator compared to like these brands that you have listed in the same area?
Yeah, I think it's going to a couple of things. West African superfoods, you don't see a premium body care brand that is focused on West African superfoods, this proprietary blend that is packed with these skincare benefits. The next I would say is that we're sustainable. So not only sustainably sourced, fair trade ingredients, but also we will be doing refillable packaging, a refillable packaging system as part of a subscription model in order to, because we are targeting people who care about sustainability. So we want to walk the walk as well. I would say those are the two differentiators. And then lastly, we want to inspire confidence. So, not many brands are talking about, mental health, but not in this way, in terms of empowering people to truly love the skin they're in. And when I say that, I mean from, again, the skin on your body, not your face, because the focus in beauty has always been on facial skincare.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm sitting here with dry ass legs right now and a very moisturized face. So
don't worry, we got you. We got you.
What's your path to scale?
Yeah, so right now, as we mentioned, we are working on our first order, but we want to build out a referral program and start within the community that we're building, but then we want to eventually partner with a wholesaler like Nordstrom or Sephora in order to increase our distribution. Obviously, we'll start off as a direct-to-consumer brand, but the goal is to expand into retail in a year to 2 years.
And what did you do, or how did you validate the market?
Yes, we did a consumer survey amongst, and that went out, to friends, but also to strangers as well, a paid survey, where we were able to see that consumers were willing to spend on body care. And I can go into more details later, but exactly how much they would be willing to spend on a body serum.
Real quick, what is the pricing?
So the pricing right now is between $32 to $36.
Okay.
All right. Great job, Omoko. Next up is the United Music Experience. Ready to go?
Hello. I am joined here by Jeff Fink. We'll get the screen up and then we'll get started. My name is Donald King. I'm the co-founder of the United Music Experience, a 501c3 nonprofit experiential music museum that shows visitors the world through the prism of music and sound, the way Anthony Bourdain showed us parts unknown via the prism of food. United Music Experience celebrates and preserves the boundless power of music to engage, inspire, and connect the world. We envision a world connected by musical narratives spanning histories and cultures. We tell stories of how humanity is musically related, the stories of how we are connected through our musical DNA. Our business pillars are born from three key market realities. The current market trend is driven by a consumer appetite for experiences over products. People want human connection. And over the last year, we've learned just how important this factor is. And then finally, the rise in the DNA genetics industry comes from people wanting to better understand who they are and where they come from. Our unique vision taps into this impulse. Our visitor framework is built around a process of exploration, revelation, and transformation. The Chant of Saints is our first museum experience that we are seeking your support for. It is an immersive sound and lighting experience, a sound collage that blends and remixes a sampling of sacred and secular music like Buddhist chants, gospel hymnals, calls to prayer, Gregorian chants, Mishabarak, jazz and hip hop, distilling, reflecting, charting our aspirational desires to channel the divine via sound. We screened Bill Carter's documentary, Miss Sarajevo, a story of the people from that besieged city during the Bosnia War, which showed how music connected the people of Sarajevo with the rest of Europe through Bono and U2 also participating. We worked with the Texas Music Office via the Office of the Governor to secure 3 exhibit cases in the Austin airport during South by Southwest. We exhibited pieces of the Berlin Wall and told the story of how David Bowie united the East and the West sides of Berlin through music. Music museums attract 80% of their visitors from tourists and 20% from local residents. The American Alliance for Museums conducted a study in 2018 that reported more people attend museums than attend all professional sporting events combined. And we recognize that millions of people already pay to listen to music and are primed for our sonic-based experiences. We visited over a dozen music museums and met with museum leaders from places like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Indian Music Experience. And what we observed and learned is that music museums are artifact-centric rather than being sonically driven. And we've also discovered that traditional museums continue to fail to express a history of inclusion, and most don't reflect or invest in a vision of a future of inclusion and equality. Jeff Fink, our CEO, is the tech guy and visionary behind this project. I bring 13 years of nonprofit leadership experience as an artistic director, producing full seasons of theater, education, and public programs, and having raised over $1 million in the nonprofit and for-profit sectors. The rest of our team brings diverse backgrounds ranging from nonprofit fund development to technology and city government planning. Our ask today is for $10,000 towards the $150,000 cost to develop and launch our first experience, the Chant of Saints. We are asking you all to join us in building a cultural institution that is designed for a future, a future that reframes and transforms our collective understanding of humanity. And we've spent the past 5 years establishing our vision, concept, metrics, and business plan for a music museum that's built for the future. With your help, we can reimagine and redesign a bold new future that is inclusive. We can be the institutional catalyst for the kind of future that this competition is born out of, and more. Thank you.
So Donald, I started talking without my mute button, but listen, so as you think about it, so this is going to be physical location, museum. So people come in attendance and revenue is attendance based?
It actually is twofold. It could, for example, the Chant of Saints can happen outside and happen in an open air space or in a museum space. So we're in the early stages of figuring that out, but we're not tied to a brick and mortar. And in fact, our first iterations will be in various different locations. We don't require a brick and mortar to launch the museum, to answer your question, Chris.
So how do you work the revenue side?
Excuse me?
How do you work the revenue side? How do you make money?
I'll let Jeff take that one.
Yeah, there's two important revenue streams that we have, and one is unearned, which is through strategic fundraising planning, where we'll be able to get donations from large philanthropic donors, also through a crowdsourcing campaign, and also the earned revenue, and from corporate sponsors and events like this as well. And then the earned revenue will come from admissions. As Don mentioned earlier, 80% of tourists from a local area or region visit museums annually, and Austin has 27.4 million tourists a year. And they charge 25 to 35 on average for those admissions.
Got it. Thanks, Jeff.
From a revenue perspective, how do you make it sustainable?
I think one of the ways in which we made, I ran I was the founding artistic director of the Providence Black Repertory Company for 13 years. And so we raised money, we earned money through revenue through public programs, and we also raised money through nonprofit and private donors and foundation support. So our model is, there are examples of organizations, experiential museums like ourselves, like Meow Wolf, and we can bring that slide up if you have that, to show how they've been able to generate unearned revenue through donations. So these are examples of the kind of market research, what we would do in terms of going out about raising money. And to be quite honest, this is our first launch into raising money. We've spent the last 5 years really kind of developing our vision, our brand, and we launched our website yesterday.
And is the ultimate perspective to have the museum, or is it either or you would augment the museum with these kind of, experience-based, like the Chant of Saints that you could take at any locale? How do you think about the longer term kind of scale of the business?
The long term is to become a brick and mortar museum. Yes.
Okay.
All right, great job, the United Music Experience. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, everybody, we have 2 more teams. Next up is Dare V. Dare V, are you ready to go?
Give me a second while I pull up my slide deck. Okay. Make that full screen. Let me know if it's full screen for everybody. Good. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. So growing up, I always wanted to be an engineer like my dad. But instead of building roads, I wanted to build robots. You see, my favorite childhood movie growing up was the movie RoboCop. I was intrigued by the idea of using technology to enhance the human ability. So when I got to college, I took an internship at a prosthetic clinic. But what I was surprised to find was not future RoboCops. What really touched me was the issue of phantom limb pain. So what is phantom limb pain? Phantom limb pain is ongoing pain in a limb that's no longer there because the brain cannot recognize that that limb has been amputated. This pain can be so severe that it can lead to loss of sleep and a decrease in quality of life. And this inspired me to start Therapy. Therapy is developing non-invasive wearable amputation pain management. My team includes myself, I'm Amira Idris. I'm the CEO and founder of Therapy. I have a background in biomedical engineering and entrepreneurship and design. I have with me, she's Jen Lee, who's here today, our Director of Outreach. Jen actually has an amputation himself and joined Therapy going to 3 years now after he experienced the benefits of using our device. We also have with us Chris Wells, who's our engineer. He helps develop the hardware, electrical, and mechanical components of our device. We also have with us advisors who have experience with developing and launching medical devices into the marketplace and also exiting their companies. And we also have with us as advisors, medical pain doctors who understand the pain space. So the market we're focusing on right now is the 2.1 million amputees that are living with limb loss in the United States. About 80% of them suffer from phantom limb pain, and 185,000 amputations occur each year. That's about 10,000% increase per year. With the cost of our device, we're looking at our addressable market to be around $476 million in the USA. So Therapy is providing comfort from phantom limb pain and also automating the limb desensitization process. So how exactly does our device work? So this is our basic product. I don't know if you can see it here. So it's a wrap that's wrapped around the residual limb. It applies vibration therapy, which stimulate the nerve endings of the residual limb, disrupting the pain signals, the mixed pain signals that are being relayed to the brain. So when an amputee wears our device and turns on the vibration, they get the relief they need from phantom limb pain. So we're actually selling two products. Our first product is the physical hardware device, which provides a vibration therapy, but we're also providing a service with our Therapy mobile app. The mobile app allows not only for the users to control the device, but also to be able to track their pain. And the goal is to be able to predict when their next pain attack is going to happen. Because right now you can't really predict when phantom limb pain is going to happen. And that's a big problem. It's something that's not currently being done in the space. We see this as a recurring revenue in the future. So the cost of our goods right now is $47. We're selling it for $200+ with addition to recurring revenue. And this gives us a healthy gross profit of over 70%. So we have both indirect and direct competitors. Our direct competitors are current alternatives that amputees are currently using to manage their pain. And our indirect competitors are wearable devices that do not cater to amputees whatsoever. They're actually not designed for amputees. But unfortunately, and fortunately for us, our competitors have either inexpensive, they have severe side effects, or they just aren't meeting the needs of the amputee community. So some things we've done so far, we sold out of our beta device. We sold 118 units, and now we have 70 pre-orders just from word of mouth, and that we're trying to fulfill this year as soon as possible. We have 6 clinics that are currently using our device with their patients, and we've raised $131,000 of non-dilutive funds to get us to where we are today. We have a patent pending on our device and also a trademark for Therapy and the Therapy Helix. Our goal this year is to sell 550 units, and this is based on the traction we've gotten so far. We are projecting a revenue of about $11 million in the next 5 years, and we plan to break even by 2023. So we're seeking to raise $150,000 to reach our goal of 550 units this year, but we're asking for the $10,000 today to help us get our FDA registration done and also our electronic certification. This we need to get done before we manufacture the second version of our Therapy Helix, which we have a prototype for, and before we can fulfill the 70 pre-orders that we have. So thank you everybody for your time. I hope you support us and help us support the amputee community one device at a time. And that's it. Questions? Thank you.
That's awesome. How long does it? Can you tell me a little bit about like how you manufacture? Like how are you going to manufacture 550 units?
So currently, we have manufacturers in place that we've spoken to. We're outsourcing some of the manufacturing we've done here in the United States, but we're going to assemble it together in-house. But in order for us to manufacture and even meet the 70 pre-orders that we have to manufacture actually a minimum of 300 units just for the contract manufacturers to help us create our order. So we're going to start by manufacturing those first, and then as we get more orders in, we'll manufacture another 300. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And then the subscription piece was for the software that actually controlled and monitored the unit. Is that correct?
Yes. So the subscription piece, one thing we learned with from the beta that we sold, and also the feedback we've gotten from the AMPT community, is that really you can't predict when your amputation pain is going to occur. Everybody's just guessing, and that data is not available whatsoever. So with our mobile app, we're integrating pain tracking that would allow us to see, okay, is there a way that we can actually predict when the next pain is going to happen? And we're going to market that not only to our AMPT customers, but also to the physicians and insurance companies.
Got it.
Is that ultimately who you will generate revenue through, is primarily through insurance companies, providers, versus trying to go to an end customer and create a brand?
Right now, actually, we're focusing on the AMPT because they are the users of the device, and they're the ones who actually are looking for something in the market. And there's absolutely nothing there that is catering to them like our product that we have. As I mentioned, we have direct and indirect competitors, and they're not meeting this needs. So we're focusing on the AMPT community, but we've seen like there's also another need that, and this is based on the feedback we got from the AMPT community, to actually help their doctors and insurance company cater to them better by providing this data.
Have you looked at military and former people who have served as a community to assist?
Yes, so actually Jen is actually a military veteran and also has an amputation. And so he's been helping us get our device to veterans. We tried going to Walter Reed and other veteran organizations, but it's a lot of red tape and it's just very difficult as a very small startup. So what we did is that we raised the money that we needed to get 53 devices to veterans with amputations. And that's what Jen spent his time since he came in to work for us, reaching out to those veterans and getting them the device. And we've been collecting feedback from those veterans for the past 2 years on using the device.
Got it.
Are there other ancillary markets that you know of? I mean, I'm a quadriplegic, and this is like super interesting to me in the sense of just weirdness happens to my body all the time. But I don't know enough about, amputees in terms of, has there been any studies? Are there other, it feels like this could be, this kind of technology could be leveraged across a multitude of use cases, potentially.
Yeah,
any perspective there?
Yeah, so there are actually studies on vibration therapy helping with other types of nerve conditions. But we focus on the amputee community because, again, this is where I saw the most need. And it's a space that really nobody's paying attention to. The pharmaceutical companies, they're just prescribing medications. You're like, just take Neurontin, take Lurac, take gabapentin, figure it out. And no one's really creating a physical product that can help the community that is drug-free. But we do also have customers that are using the device that are non-amputees. We have a lady who has nerve pain from Lyme disease, and she purchased 3 of our devices because it helped her with her pain. We also have a lady who has arthritis, and she uses it to play her piano. So we do have like customers that do use the device that are non-amputees, but we see the amputee space as a stepping stone to get into the bigger, more competitive nerve pain market.
Great job, Daravi.
Thank you.
Nice job.
We are on.
Just to add a little bit.
We're up on time.
Sorry about that, America. Hello.
I think we lost Jen. Okay, next up we have Katika, final team presenting. Jason, are you ready? Hold on 1 second. Right?
Yes.
So
Like give it like 5 seconds.
Okay, just let me know when to start, Gary.
Will you be sharing slides?
Yes, can you see them?
I cannot yet.
Ooh. Okay, how's that?
Okay, looks good.
Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Coles, and I'm the founder and CEO of Katika. This past year, the City of Philadelphia's Office of Economic Opportunity produced their annual fiscal report, which showed some troubling statistics. The most alarming was that the city's annual spend towards minority businesses has gone down significantly. Now, the city's entire budget for minority contracts is around $200 million, which sounds like a lot. However, it's roughly the entire spend of just one major corporation here in the city. Whether it's the City of Philadelphia or a number of Fortune 1000 corporations, the problem remains the same. They're unable to find qualified Black-owned businesses to fulfill their small, diverse business participation obligations. You see, platforms like Google and Yelp are catered more towards smaller mom-and-pop businesses. The business profiles that those platforms offer don't require important information that procurement and supply managers need in order to source vendors for contracts. So we decided to build a bridge to connect those two sides, and it's called Katika. Katika is an innovative B2B directory which enables businesses to create comprehensive profiles, which include their NAICS codes, company revenues, and other important vendor-specific requirements like certifications and licenses. Now, our paid customers search for businesses based on their RFI, RFQ, or RFP requirements, thus reducing administrative time and money that it would take to source this information themselves. Now, our business model is very simple. We're a SaaS model where corporations pay a $500 monthly fee to access the Katika platform. And as mentioned before, our customers are local city, state governments, as well as corporations. Now, the market size for this opportunity is very enormous. Just here in the city of Philadelphia, our local GDP is almost $400 billion. Now, we plan to go after 10 Fortune 1000 companies as our initial customers. And I'll talk about our first customer a little bit later on. As you can see here in this diagram, our main competitors like Google and Yelp now have a minority focus with the new labels that they've created, but they don't have detailed profiles. We think that there's big opportunity in this space for both the public and private sectors who have been signaling for the need for a product like this. Now, our go-to market strategy is to launch with our initial partner, AmeriHealth Caritas, and work within the healthcare industry to provide qualified suppliers to organizations like theirs. And we've also formed partnerships with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, as well as the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council. Katika is headed by myself and 4 other technical team members who have worked at startups and other major corporations. We formed strategic partnerships with the companies listed and organizations listed above, and we have an amazing diverse advisory team. To date, we've bootstrapped our entire venture. Since our initial launch back in 2018, we had over 5,000 app downloads, 16,000 in business revenue, and over 20,000 businesses registered in our directory marketplace. So if chosen, we will continue to developing our platform, excuse me. So who's ready to help us bridge the gap of the digital divide? Thank you.
So Jason, once again, what's differentiating you from the other directories that are associated? Why do I pay $500 a month for you if Google's close it for free, kind of a deal?
Sure. So different, whether it's us, go for corporations, they have different requirements to spend money for with minorities, right?
Yep.
And so Google would give you a very it wouldn't give you a specific community, right? They would give you suppliers from all backgrounds, So our platform is specifically for African-American suppliers that would fall within the different commercial codes, if you will. So Google doesn't have that type of specific type of orientation for their profiles for businesses that can be attributed. Oh, that was clear.
Thanks. I get it.
How many businesses did you say you had registered in the app already?
So previously in our, we launched originally in 2018 as a marketplace and directory. And so we scrubbed the internet of existing directories, local MBE lists, et cetera. And so those lists combined aggregated to about 20,000. However, in this new version, we're actually scaling back. So we've stripped down a lot. We went through an accelerator program and got some great coaching. And so we're really focused on specific industry and specific customer. And so we're not looking to throw out a bunch of businesses and have them, folks look them up, but really have quality businesses registered on the platform. Today, I would say that through our partnership with the Goldman Sachs program, as well as with TCP, we have scheduled to come through our pipeline initial 100 businesses that have those NAICS codes and et cetera, have that more robust background.
And you said you had $16,000 in revenue?
In revenue, yes.
How many paying customers do you have?
So the the first version of Katika was, imagine like a Amazon and Yelp combined. So we since then took a step back and said, okay, let's not have a marketplace. Let's just focus on the directory. So that the revenue was across the marketplace directory as well as an events platform as well too. So we were kind of we built a lot, and so we're really stripping down.
So yes. So did you say how many people you have paying for the directory, or you're saying you don't have consumers for that yet?
No. So I'll break down the 16,000. So the 16,000, let's say 65% of that came through events that we did at Black-owned businesses. Other, let's say 5,000 or 4,000 came through the marketplace, and then we weren't charging for the directory at the time. But it is free to sign up on the directory for the Black businesses, the corporations and government that would pay a licensing fee to have access to that list.
All right, and that is time. Great job, Katika. Great job, everybody. That was everyone. I'm amazed, a little bit at a loss for words at how incredibly innovative everyone is and what you're all building and the traction you have and the teams you build. It's just amazing to see. So kudos to all of you. We are going to take a little break. We're going to jump into a sort of breakout room with the judges to determine our top 3 winners. Got some funding to give away. We've got co-working space. We've got some cloud credits and some other goodies as well. So we're going to jump in the breakout room, but the Venture Cafe Philadelphia team is going to be out here to talk to y'all a little bit.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming tonight. I will be no comparison to Gary. He is the master of ceremonies when it comes to facilitating, and certainly did an amazing job helping to organize the competition tonight. This is the hard part because it's the waiting game, and we have some text messages going back and forth between our team, and you all did just a fabulous, fabulous job. Like, I can't imagine the conversation that's going to happen in the breakout room. They're supposed to have like 20 to 30 minutes. I think we're going to be like trying to fight them to get them to make a decision, because it was really awesome. You all did great. I would love to hear from the folks first who pitched, just to get your perspective on how did it feel. Some of you said it was like your first time pitching. Tell us a little bit about that. I know there's several members of folks that are part of the Venture Cafe community that also kind of regularly listen to pitches. And so I suspect they're chomping at the bit to provide you feedback as well. But before we give them free rein, I'd love to actually have an opportunity to hear from the companies that pitched. What's your reactions? How'd it feel? And I'll call on you too.
Well, I thought it was a fantastic opportunity to pitch. It's a little crazy. I'm still at work right now, so I apologize with the background and stuff. But it's always good practice to convey your ideas, have judges ask really great questions and get feedback on them. So overall, I thought it was a great evening.
I just saw Emily put a question in chat, which is a great one. How does a virtual pitch competition, for those of you who may have pitched in an in-person competition already, how does virtual compare to in-person? Has anyone pitched non-virtually yet?
Yeah, I've pitched one virtually before.
So how did this compare?
I think it's my first virtual pitch, actually, and this one is, I think, not as nerve-wracking in the sense that virtual in person you have to stand in front of people and you get all that shaky legs, and you're sitting down, so you're a little bit more founded, and then you get a chance to be a little bit more relaxed in your pitch. It's still nerve-wracking, but it's not as nerve-wracking as when you have to do it in person, for sure.
I get the shaky hands when I stand up in front, so I don't have the shaky legs, but I have the shaky hands, so I can definitely relate to that.
I have the shaky hands too, and legs, the whole body.
The beauty of virtual is there's only so much you can see, so you can hide the parts that are showing how you're really feeling inside. So any other folks, how did it feel?
Yeah, so get potluck here. So I feel like compared to a lot of other people, we're still really early, right? And it's just great to see like how people have worked on this in like the past, and on their startups in like the past few years, and just to see sort of where it progressed, how much money they raised, right? Kind of just looking at their platforms and seeing how beautiful it is, and just how like experienced and sort of seasoned they are as entrepreneurs. So that's inspiring to me, right? Because I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, even though it's a pitch competition, I feel like I'm learning so much from everyone, and I really appreciate just being in the room with everybody.
That's very cool. I think that's so much like community is so much a part of the entrepreneurial experience, which is almost like counter to, being a, solopreneur and entrepreneur. So it's good to hear you guys, learning from other folks in the room, because I think I'm always in awe when folks are, each time, like the creativity, like I said, we had some back channels talking about all of you, and we were all in awe of like the creativity and the ideas. And, I would even say from you guys, I guess I'm jumping into the feedback, but like, I thought you did a really nice job of knowing who was saying what. And certainly from a, like answering of the questions, I think that's sometimes even harder of like who's going to jump in and who's going to say what. So I jumped a little ahead in terms of the feedback part of the equation, but appreciate that. Does anybody want to do a do-over? Like, is there a do-over that you would do, or a question you would answer differently?
I would. I think I would go more into kind of what we're doing in phase 2 of our project. So kitty credits for kids ages 4 to 12, and then we're building out a secondary product that's intended for teens and first-time credit users, where we want to issue a card using a world first education-based approval process. So just for the sake of time, I didn't really get a chance to get into it, but I plan
Well,
to.
that's the hard part too. You have 4 minutes. So it's like in 4 minutes, like how do you go deep? Do you go broad? So I agree. I think that's a challenge, but good to know that at least you could share that aspect of it.
Good job, everybody. The pitches were great, for sure.
Gary kept telling us about the quality of the pitches, and the judges were going to have a good job or a hard job to do. So any other folks, anybody else wish they had a do-over or an answer to a question they might have done differently?
Yeah, I might have expanded a little bit on the difference between launching our first experience and then what the model looks like for an established museum once it's open, and the examples of where that's been wildly successful from a revenue generating standpoint.
Yeah. So all of the folks in, many of the folks in the chat function are definitely feeling your pain and saying, why did we only give you 4 minutes? And, you know, I think it was a matter of having the opportunity to have so many companies, but, you know, Ellen, I'm going to call on you if you don't mind. Ellen is an investor with Robinhood, which is a local angel investment group, and would love to get Ellen's perspective, if you don't mind, Ellen, on what you thought and what you saw, and if there was any feedback you might provide to one or collectively the companies.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I got here a little bit late. I had 6 o'clock in my head, not 5, but I did get to see the last few. I thought all of you had really nice pacing. You used your 4 minutes well, and 4 minutes is a tough time, but you got to be ready to do 1 minute, 2 minute, 4 minute, 10 minute, you know, and if you do well with 1 minute or 2 minutes, then you get 10 minutes, right? If you do well with 10 minutes, then you get the hour or the 2 hours. So you got to be ready to do any of those things. But I thought everyone, you know, the pacing, the sound, the passion, which is so important in a good pitch, really came through in the ones that I heard, and that's not something you can make up. So you know, I thought that was great. There's a little bit difference between an investor pitch and the 4 minute pitch that you did here. There are some nuances that are different, some of the information you convey, but I thought you know, for what this was, I thought everyone did a really good job on it. It was clear what you were trying to do.
Thanks, Ellen. You know, I noticed that Margaret Berger Bradley is here as well, and she's with Ben Franklin Tech Partners. I don't see Margaret on camera, so I'm not sure if she's able to make any comments, but would love her thoughts as well.
She is here. I'm sorry, I had to go outside because eventually one has to go outside. But I was so impressed, and I got to tell you, if that were the stream through my ear on a regular basis, that would inspire me in all of that, what we do in terms of growing young ventures. I think whether it is the nonprofit or the tech sort of company, I think for all of you, I would just take every single opportunity. I saw Ellen put in the chat, and others did too, and I'd offer Ben Franklin, anytime you can talk with someone, anytime you can pitch to someone. There are a couple of you who we've met multiple times, and just keep taking it in, because some of you, it's quite clear you've really hone this. There's some really outstanding pitches in the mix, and it comes from trial and error, and it comes from the pivots that you make and the feedback you get from early people game to pilot it, or really just an impressive variety here. And just never think people aren't going to take your call. That's one of the strange silver linings right now, is that because nobody's traveling to go where they need to go, and they're not in Austin, and they're not on vacation, not in Silicon Valley, they're nowhere else, just assume that they'll take your call and give it a try. Certainly, please reach out to Ben Franklin. I'm happy to talk with you, whether you're in these 5 counties or not. Got smart colleagues who are happy to talk. But presume people want to hear what you're doing and want to support you doing it, because I think this is a place right now where people really do.
I would just be very clear when you're having those conversations that you know whether it's you know, for informational purposes or whether it's truly a pitch, because you're going to prepare differently for those two things.
Yeah, good point.
That's great advice. You know, I saw Eamon Gallagher, who works as a colleague of mine at the Science Center, and he was suggesting that investors make a decision in the first 90 seconds. Eamon, I'm not sure if you wanted to comment a little bit on that. That was one observation I had, which is I was hoping that one or two of you would have gotten to the punch a little quicker. So there's the art of making sure that you're kind of telling your problem, but then bringing your solution in quickly enough. So I don't know, Eamon, if you're still here, if you might want to comment at all.
To be honest, I was just poking fun at John Mercer.
Oh.
and Zave Smith for their comments, but no, I think it is definitely the case that when you get in front of most investors, they will tell you, and hopefully Ellen or Margaret or some of the other investors in the room won't throw me under the bus for this, but I think people get a sense for credibility very, very quickly, right? And they start to make those decisions whether they vocalize them or not. It's, you know, it's very much like when you know something pretty well and something happens and your palms start to sweat, like your body physically knows whether you're in a good spot or a bad spot, and investors get a sense for that very quickly. And so 4 minutes is actually a little bit awkward in that I think you see a lot of 10-minute pitches, so finding the right balance is really interesting, but it makes companies present for this presentation in a very particular way. And I think the companies here were very well prepared, had very crisp, clean presentations for the ones that I saw, and generally got pretty directly to the point. And so kudos to Gary and kudos to all the companies on a job well done.
You know, Eamon, when I ran Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, we'd make people do a 30-second and a 1 minute. So when we gave them 3 or 5 minutes, it felt like luxury, because you're right. Like, you want to know quickly, are your feet grounded? Or you're right, on virtual, you don't have to be grounded, but do you sound like your feet are grounded? And do you own the room in that first minute? Do I think I care about what you're trying to solve?
The other thing I would add, and I think maybe that's where Zave was getting in his comment, is sometimes you're pitching an idea that the investor has not experienced the problem before. And so you have to, as Trace was saying, in that very first piece, you have to help transcend whatever it is that the investor may not understand. And I remember early on, there was someone was trying to explain Spotify. I want to know what my other friends are listening to, and I want to share lists. And I remember the investors going, what the heck are they talking about, right? So you have to somehow come up with an analogy or, a way of making it really understandable for someone who hasn't lived your same life experience.
Yeah, Ellen, we had that happen on last week's Startup Roundtable. You were there when the Growflux was presenting, and we were trying to understand what it was. It was basically, the way we ultimately came to it was, it's a nest for large agricultural growing facilities. So yeah, just bring it down to our levels.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
That's interesting. I do think that there is, I felt like several of the pitches did a really nice job of the ending with the summary, like the ending with that synthesis, but it's like, how do you start and end with it? So from a branding standpoint, not that all traditional advertising, certainly in this day and age, follows the model, but typically in a normal 30-second commercial, you would have 5 to 6 mentions of the brand. And again, there's lots of different models, but the thinking is that you need to start to get folks' attention so that they understand what they're talking about. So if you have those synthesis that John was suggesting of your idea, how do you start and make sure you're ending with the synthesis so that everyone can have the general idea of where they're starting, and then, oh, I get it by the end. I know Aaron Strosta is here and Tanya as well. Do either of you guys want to comment? Because I know you work a ton with folks who are, early startups and, helping to really make their businesses terrific.
I'm actually here as Jenny now.
Incognito.
I can go incognito so I can say anything and blame my wife. I was really impressed with the pitches today. And I think, some of the comments I saw down the side were right on. I think that there were differing stages of companies here and a wide variety of topics. And that's always difficult for a judge to deal with because we bring our biases into things. And so if we happen to know a little bit more about healthcare, we're going to be more interested in the things that have to do with phantom limb. We have more interest in music than maybe we're interested in the museum. There's different things that will bias a judge. And so one of the piece of advice that I would give to folks in general when they pitch is know who's in the room. And so do a little work. In this case, there happened to be a quadriplegic in the room when you're talking about things having to do with phantom limb, which is pretty amazing because I've never seen that coincidence at one time. But there's somebody there who, even if you don't get the money, even if you don't get the opportunity, you need to say, you know what, this is a person who understands or could understand my project, might have people or community that he could introduce us to, might be able to help us out in ways that are well beyond the $10,000 because they'll get us further along or help us develop something or answer questions that we can't get answered anywhere else. And so by knowing who the judges are, taking their names down, asking for their emails, contacting them and sort of staying in touch, you never know what the non-tangibles are for an event like this. And so that can help you really make some amazing progress, even if you don't get the money well beyond whatever the money's worth. So that was what struck me when I was sort of listening to the different companies, because like I said, it's hard for me as a, I'll call it expert judge, having done this for 20 some years. But, somebody who judges a lot of these competitions, that's something that always is difficult for me when there's no sort of like set theme to the companies presenting.
Thanks.
All right, everybody.
And
I'm back. We're back.
The judges are back. So Carrie, take it over.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to keep you all waiting, but it was a very hard decision. Everybody did a phenomenal job. Can you see my screen? All right. It's time to determine the winners. All right. So our third place winner is Eventually has won a 6-month membership at IC at 3401, $1,000 in Oracle credits, and mentorship from AWS executives. Congratulations to Eventually. Next up, second place is Therapy. Can you see it? You already saw it. Therapy, second place. 1-year membership at IC at 3401, $2,500 in Oracle credits and AWS mentorship. And you probably already saw this, but grand prize winner, $10,000. Kitty Credit. Congratulations to Kitty Credit, Therapy, and Eventually. Thank you to our judges. Thank you to everyone who presented. You all crushed it. And thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Boomi, DJ. Without you, this would not have been possible. So thank you to DJ and everyone at Boomi. Thank you to Oracle for Startups, AWS, and Brex. All of the applicants to our competition will be getting a copy of the Black Futures book, as well as in-kind support on behalf of Boomi as well. So we got good stuff going out to everybody, and we definitely want to make sure we continue to support and uplift Black entrepreneurs. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for supporting our community.
Congratulations, everyone. It was really a great evening. Awesome group of folks. It was a very, very difficult decision, but congratulations to Kitty Credit this evening. Just crushed it a little bit better.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate y'all and congrats to everybody. The pitches were amazing. Let's all stay in contact.
Really were.
Absolutely.